Sometimes the most fascinating stories aren't found in some big, fancy documentary. Nope, they're hidden in the most ordinary, unexpected places. Today, we're going to prove it by diving into a local plumber's website. Yeah, you heard me right. We're going to uncover a story that starts with a backed-up sink and somehow ends with a town's century-long identity crisis. I mean, it's a fair question, right? When your drain is clogged, you're just looking for a phone number and a list of services. You're not expecting to get a history lesson. So what else could possibly be on there? Turns out, a whole lot more than you'd think. I stumbled upon this one site for a plumber in Mundelein, Illinois, and it was part practical guide, part time machine. So first up, we found exactly what you'd hope for, a genuinely solid playbook for any homeowner. Before we get into all the weird hidden history, let's just quickly look at the practical stuff they had. The site lays out these 5 crucial things you should look for. Of course, you want someone who's licensed and insured. That's a no-brainer. It protects you. Transparent pricing, warranties, quick response time, all super important. But I want you to look at number 2, local experience. It seems obvious, but trust me, it's going to become very important a little later. The site also breaks down the usual suspects for clogs. You've got tree roots getting into old pipes, grease and gunk building up from the kitchen sink, and, of course, people flushing things they really, really shouldn't. And here's a fantastic pro tip they offered. Get a camera inspection done every few years. It's just simple preventative maintenance that could save you a massive headache later on. Okay, so all of that is super useful, right? Good consumer-focused advice. But this is where things take a really interesting turn. Because buried on that same exact website, I found something else entirely. The story wasn't just in the pipes, it was in the town itself. So I was just clicking around, and I land on this whole section detailing the history of Mundelein, Illinois. And, well, it turns out this town has had, let's call it, a serious identity crisis. It's actually cycled through 5 different names over the years. Just look at this timeline. It's wild. It started as Mechanics Grove, then it became Holcomb. Then in February of 1909, it's incorporated as Rockefeller, and you got to assume that's for the famous businessman. But then, just a few months later, in July of that same year, it changes again to Area. Yeah, you heard that right. The town was just called Area. So who on earth was behind this bizarre change? According to the website, it was this entrepreneur, a guy named Arthur Sheldon. He had just bought 600 acres to build a new school. Which, of course, leads to the next question. What was so special about the word area? Get this, it was an acronym. Sheldon's school taught a sales philosophy he created called AREA, which stood for ability, reliability, endurance, and action. This guy literally convinced an entire town to name itself after his corporate buzzword. It's like deciding to live in a town called Synergy. Just incredible. Now, the name AREA didn't stick, of course. After Sheldon's school closed down, Archbishop George Mundelein bought the old area campus to build a seminary. So in 1925, the village voted to change its name one last time in his honor, and it's been Mundelein ever since. Okay, so a plumbing guide and a local history lesson. What's the connection here? Well, remember that second point on the list of what to look for in a pro? Local experience? This is where it all clicks into place. This whole story brilliantly illustrates what local truly means. A generic service might just follow a map, right? But a real local pro, they understand the regional sewer lines. They know the common problem spots because they're part of the community's fabric. And hey, maybe they even know their town was once named after a sales acronym. So here's the real takeaway. True local expertise isn't just about having the right tool for the job. It's about a much deeper understanding of a place, its history, its quirks, its very infrastructure. It's about knowing the pipes, the people, and the story of the place they all call home. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? From a clogged drain to a forgotten piece of history, it's all right there if you just look. So the next time you're browsing online for something totally mundane, maybe click on that About Us page. You truly never know what you might find. So what hidden stories are waiting on your local websites?